Today on Through the Numbers, we're going to be going through our best bets for week 6. That's right. Last week, not so great for either of us. But Ryguy is your champion. We went head to head. I went 2-3. Ian went 1-4. So we're going to both look to bounce back, but since I ended up being our champion of the week, I get to pick first in our little draft here.
Should we recap quick?
And the first best bet I'm going to give.
Can we recap quick what the punishment is for this? Or sorry, was for last week, and what we're going to do for this week?
Well, the punishment for last week, I forgot about this. The punishment for last week was just a friendly wager of $20, and then obviously giving up the first pick in the next week. It was $20. And what is the punishment for this week?
I had a suggestion, actually. I was going to say, how about a shot? The loser has to drink a shot of vinegar.
Oh, God.
It's a punishment.
I guess.
Unless you can think of something better.
Fine. Sure. We'll put that as a possible. Everyone in the comments, please put better suggestions, because I would rather not do that. But yeah, I'm gonna try not to think about that. But
don't let that influence your
I'm not
picks.
too worried about it, because I got some picks I really like here, and I was gonna go with the spread in this game for my best bet, but I like this other play a whole lot more. And that's a player prop in this game, and that is DeAndre Swift over 16.5 rushing yards. So DeAndre has exceeded 16.5 rushing yards in 5 of his last 6 games, averaging 32.8 receiving yards over that time. He's gone over in 4 or 5 games this season. The only game he went under was week 1, where Caleb Williams really struggled. And another reason why I like this bet a lot and why I'm taking it first is the Jags give up the second most receiving yards in the league to running backs right now. So yeah, that's my pick. DeAndre Swift over 16.5 receiving yards. Ian, over to you for your back-to-backs. What are you going with next?
All right. So first of all, I like it. We'll get an early morning sweat with another London game this week. So I like it for that.
Mm-hmm.
For my first pick, I'm going to keep it within an NFC North team. And I'm going to go this week with the Lions -3. I love that we're getting a number like this as a favorite with them on the road. I think if the Cowboys had lost last week against Pittsburgh, this might have been up to 3.5, 4. So I'm kind of glad the Cowboys did win, because we get it at a nice 3 here. But there's just so many great numbers that back this one here. So the Lions' last 5 games against bottom 10 scoring defenses, which is what the Cowboys are, the Lions have gone 4-1 against the spread. And as road favorites last season, they were 6-1 against the spread. It's a great matchup for them against the Cowboys. The Cowboys' run defense is awful. And, Detroit just has that power tandem of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think they're really going to be able to do whatever they want. It's going to be a problem for Dallas there. Some other numbers for us here is that the Lions, now this is including playoff games, mind you, so that's a little bit different. But they're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. And Jared Goff, there's some great numbers about Jared Goff here. He's a covering machine. So, and this is in a dome too as well. So, that's a whole other thing we can go over later about Jared Goff inside a dome. But anyways, so he is 21-10-1 straight up and 19-11-2 against the spread when he's coming off extended rest. So right now he's coming off the bye week, or anytime he's had like a Thursday night game going into a Sunday, some kind of rest like that. When he's a favorite of -3, he is 14-4 on that number since 2020. And in his last 7 times in this spot of being -3, he is covered. But it's almost a bit of a tale of 2 quarterbacks, because if we go over to Dak and the Cowboys, so another number I want to put out here, the Cowboys are 31st in red zone efficiency. There's only one team that's worse, and that's the Browns. You don't want to be in that company. Anyway, so going back to the Cowboys and Dak, when he is facing a team that's below 500 in win-loss record, he's 32, 14, and 2. Now, when he plays teams that are above 500, which the Lions are, he's 19 and 33. So that gives me all I need. Let's lock it in. Lions -3.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of pissed that you took that because that was one that I was definitely hoping to take. I bet this one already. I think you mentioned Detroit is 4-1 ATS against bottom 10 defenses. Is that what you said before? Yeah. And Dallas is 0-2 ATS at home this season.
This just feels like one of those games, man. Like, sorry to interrupt you, but like a couple times a year, like Dallas always has games where they just get absolutely shit on and blown out at home.
Yeah. Dallas also, I believe, has a couple injuries on the defensive end right now where they're kind of...
Yeah, Parsons is questionable as of right now. I know that.
Yeah. I think someone else important is also either injured or questionable. So that's not a good sign. All right. So you got Lions -3.5. Tell me, what is your next?
All right, we're doing snake draft here, so I get second one.
Yeah, you're going back to back this time.
All right. Well, I hope I don't screw you on this one here either. Next one, we are taking another spread here, but we're going to take an underdog, and that's where we're going to go with the Washington Commanders +7. I love this number here. I think it's a great play, especially on the number. So a couple things to go on here. In terms of the money versus the bets differential, the bets are pretty split evenly on Ravens and the Commanders. But in terms of the big money, which is a good indicator for us usually, 72% of the money is coming in on Washington for this game. So that usually is a strong signal and works well in our favor for this. Now, something that could give you a little bit of pause and definitely did make me reconsider in this game is Lamar Jackson's record against NFC teams. His straight-up record is 21-1 against the NFC. That one loss coming against the Giants. Now, against the spread in those games, though, it's 11-11. So it's kind of like we need that gif of Larry David, like, yeah. Now, something I will also add in that, like with those teams in the NFC, a lot of that is because the coach and the staff haven't faced Lamar before. Well, that's a little different. Dan Quinn actually has faced Lamar before, so that adds another little wrinkle in there for us. But also, I want to get back to the number here, the +7 here. So another fact about Lamar. Now, Lamar, when you're betting him as a short favorite or as an underdog, he's awesome. He's 25-5 when he's an underdog or he's a favorite of a field goal or less. But once you get over that number, once you get into the -3.5 or higher, that number drops down to 21-31. And there's another fact that goes into this one. So as many of you know, if you saw that exciting game, fortunately for me, that overtime thriller with the Bengals and the Ravens, that will play a little bit into this week, I think, because teams coming off an overtime game against a team that didn't have an overtime game straight up win at 43%, and against the spread, they only cover at 44%. I think the Commanders, they've been on fire. I really don't think a lot of books and some people have bought into it yet, and they're thinking, it's just beginner's luck with Jaden Daniels, and eventually he's going to get caught and have a bad game. And, I can see why. The Ravens are a tough team. I'm sure John Harbaugh and the defense are going to want to make sure they can do everything they can to make a rookie miserable. But I think it's too big of a number. The Commanders are playing way too good right now. It's an away game for them, but Baltimore is so close to Washington when they play that it's really not that much travel. But let's fade Lamar as a big favorite here and take the Commanders +7.
And I would agree with that pick because I mentioned that to you earlier in the week. I said if it gets up to 7, we got to bet this, right? You mentioned the Lamar numbers. Yeah, the Ravens are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games as a favorite. But then the Commanders are 4-1 ATS with Daniels as the QB. The one loss being the first game of the season, his first game. So heavy dogs have been covering and winning games outright.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I also lean the over in this game as much as it's a high total. The The overs hit in all 3 of Washington's road games.
It's, both offenses are, in the upper echelon, and both defenses, I'd say, are subpar. So, yeah.
Yeah. Before I get to my pick, I just want to say Cole Caulfield scored for the Montreal Canadiens on the power play. So that big bet that we put as the best bet, that hit,
Let's
baby.
Go.
I was also talking to someone about the Slatkovsky assist. I think I forgot to bet it, but I said I wanted to bet it, and that hit as well on that same play. Sorry to anyone who watches our NHL show. I couldn't get around to making the video last night, but I will have one for you tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I will have the time tonight. Anyways, on to my next pick. Where to go? And I think I'm going to stick with running backs and their receiving yards, because that has been the only betting line that's treated me well so far for the NFL, is betting the receiving yards for running backs. And the running back I'm going to bet on is Austin Eckler, over 19.5 receiving yards. He's exceeded 19.5 receiving yards in 5 straight games. So
all his games
every
with
game
the
this
Commanders.
Year, every game he's played this year with the Commanders, he's gone over. He's over in 8 of his last 10. The Ravens are dead last against the pass right now, and bottom 10 giving up receiving yards to running backs. So that's really all I got to say for that. We said it's 2 high octane offenses, poor defenses. I expect a lot of offense, so I think it's pretty reasonable. I should also mention he's averaging 37.8 receiving yards per game right now.
And the line you said was 19.5?
19.5. And I believe I got this at, let me double check. I got this at minus 114 on FanDuel. All right, so that's my second pick. Now my third pick, it's coming back to me. And I'm not going to give this one out if the line has moved significantly. Let me just double check where it's at before I give out this next one.
Holy shit. Lindor just hit a grand slam to give the Mets the lead.
Nice. It's at 3.5 now. I don't know. I'll leave that one for now. You've taken a lot of my plays already.
My first 2 already.
There's 2 other ones that I want, but they haven't been listed on any of the major books. I'll check them when you make your next pick to see if they have been 2 other player props.
There's one I gotta check too, because there was a player prop I like, but I didn't see any player props available for the game yet.
So the next play I'm gonna give out, I think it has a bit of juice on it, but I still like it. And I'll look up what the odds are for it real quick, just to make sure I'm not giving out a stupid something with stupid juice right now. Sorry. Where the fuck is that game? Shit. Okay. It's not too bad.
What's the juice?
You can still get it at minus 130.
That's fair.
So the next pick I'm giving out is Geno Smith. Oh, this is for Thursday,
That's
isn't
fine.
it?
Or it's up to you, I guess, because you're going to be editing.
Game. Yeah, I don't know if I'll have time to get this out before Thursday, so I won't do it. Sorry.
What's the bet though?
What I will do then is I will give out a parlay.
All right.
I'm going to give out the what I like to call the what did I call it? The QB special.
Yeah. I call it the Ryguy QB special, but obviously for you, it's just the QB special.
And the one I'm gonna go with is I'm gonna go with your boy. I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow to throw over 1.5 touchdowns and no interception.
Hell yeah!
I got this at plus 190 on Bet365. Burrows has gone over in 8 of his last 10. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, I believe 3 or 4 straight now. He's done it in 9 of his last 11 games. And he's thrown a pick, I think. He's gone pickless, I think, in 7 of his last 10. And I believe that who are they playing in? The Giants. The Giants are bottom 10 in forced interceptions. So I really like this play, the way Burrow's playing right now. I hit this against Washington with him. And I'm looking to go for it again. Maybe this will help me on the odds portion if the other plays don't work out.
I hope so. I hope so.
Ian, your next pick.
All right, next pick. Let's see here. All right, so for my next one, I'm going to go to the Monday night game here, and I'm going to suggest you can go 2 ways with this one. It just depends how risky you're feeling. My pick is going to be the Jets plus 2.5, but I will say if you're feeling it, there's nothing wrong with taking the money line in this one. So there's something called the dead cat bounce theory, which great name, by the way, which is something where when a coach gets fired in season, the next 1 or maybe even 2 weeks, we see that team rebound and do better than they were doing before. So a stat here, over the past 20 years now, there's been 38 in-season coach firings. And the following week after those coaches were fired, those teams are 22-16 against the spread and 17-21 straight up, which is not bad, considering all of those are terrible teams. That's why they fired the coach. With this one, the pro money, it is pretty split on it, but the overwhelming majority of the public slips of it are on Buffalo. The public's really coming in on Buffalo for this one. And I can kind of see why, they've dropped 2 games in a row now. Josh Allen usually does respond well to that situation. But I'm not really thinking so much about Josh Allen in this one. I'm more so thinking about Aaron Rodgers and some of his numbers in these situations. So Aaron Rodgers, in the primetime games he's played in his career, against the spread, he's 28, 14, and 1. And it's worth noting that he's only been an underdog in 2 of those games. This is his 3rd time being an underdog in a home primetime game. So that's great. If we're getting him as an underdog here and he can usually cover as a favorite, hell yeah. Some other things to think about is that the Jets did beat the Bills in this spot last year. This is sort of, I imagine there's going to be some deja vu for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets because it was Monday night game at home against the Bills that he tore his Achilles last year. But something about that game is that they actually did go on to beat the Bills without him in that game. So, now they have him back. So going off Rodgers now back to Allen a little bit and the Bills. I didn't realize this because I didn't watch the game, but Allen only completed 9 of 30 passes against Houston last week. And he just seems to be getting a little injured after every game. Something's wrong there in Buffalo. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But also just their wide receiver room is already depleted going in, and now they're probably not going to have Shakir again. I think the Jets pass coverage will just be able to stifle that. So give me the Jets plus 2.5 or the money line if you're willing to go for it, and let's see the dead cat bounce.
I like it. I know we talked about this one earlier. Taking all my picks.
I'm going for all the ones I think you might have as well.
Yeah, you're screwing me a bit, but I like it. It's good. All right, for my next pick, I want to go back to that Detroit-Dallas game. So when I originally wanted to do just the rushing yards, but the number has dropped significantly. So I don't like the rush yards as much. But I do like the rush and receiving yards combined. So I'm going to go with Rico Dowdle under 61.5 rush plus receiving yards. So people are going to be hot on Dowdle because he got, he had a huge game last week against Steelers, but that was also poor weather where he got like 20 rush attempts and the Steelers offense does fuck all.
Sorry to interrupt, man, but it's crazy. So I have him on my fantasy team, and for all sort of his projected matchups, he's been around like 7 points or so. And originally that's what he was supposed to have for this week. After last week's game, now he's up to almost 11.
Yeah, and I don't buy it in this game because I don't think he's going to get those rush attempts. And realistically, if you look at it, sure, right now, a game where he gets that many rush attempts is an outlier game, and I just don't see it happening against the Detroit Lions, whose defense is top 5 against the rush and top 5 at limiting running backs receiving yards. So I really don't buy it there. And then in the track record, sure, he wasn't getting the same amount of opportunities before, but he's only ever gone over this number twice. So yeah, I'm gonna fade Rico Dowdle this week. I'm gonna go under 61.5 rush and receiving yards against the Lions. Just bank it on the Lions to shut him down. And for Dak, originally I wanted to bet Dak passing yards, but the number went up significantly from when I was first looking at it. So I have to look at it again, decide if I want to do that. But I still like the Dowdle play because I still think just because of how good Detroit has been against running backs. I mean, aside from didn't Walker go off against them? Kenneth
I
Walker.
Can't remember.
Didn't he go off
How did White and Irving and Tampa do?
They didn't do well.
Oh yeah, that was a big Evans and Godwin game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I think is going to happen here. It's going to be more of CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert. Yeah. Anyways, that's my pick is under on the rush and receiving yards.
All right.
Ian, or I go back to back again, or did I just go back to back?
No, I think you just did one. So yeah, drop another.
So it's the last pick, right?
I got 2 more to give out still.
Yeah. So this is my last pick then.
Yeah, and then I'll go for 2.
No, wait. How many did I do?
I think we screwed up, man. I think you did 2, I did 2, and then you did 1, and I did 1.
No, hold on. Okay, so I gave out, just to recap where we're at right now, I gave out DeAndre Swift.
Then I gave out the Lions.
And
the Commanders.
And then I did Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
And then after Austin Eckler, I did the QB special.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And then I did the Jets.
And then what'd you do after
Nothing.
the Jets? Oh, so you were supposed to go back to back again.
So screwed up there.
Okay. Well, I don't think you were going to take my Dowdle pick anyway. So yeah, how many do you have left to do then?
2 more.
No, you should have 1 more.
No, because I've done 3. I had the Lions, I had the Commanders, and I had the Jets.
Oh yeah, because it's only 5 rounds. Yeah. That's why. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah. So you give 1. So you give 1 more, then I'll give 1, and then you give your last one. Then. Okay. We did fuck up.
We'll get it right. We'll get it right next time. All right. So, okay, for my next one here, I'm going to go back to the 1 o'clock window. I'm going to take my 1 total for this week. It's going to be a low under. It's pretty ugly. And we're going to be the Texans at Patriots under 37.5%. So the Texans offense, I know the Texans are 4-1 now, I believe, right? But their offense is 31st in EPA and early down success rate. which I think people can tell by looking at him too, right? I mean, and just they're so banged up too right now. I mean, now they've lost Nico Collins, who's officially on the IR. He's going to be out for at least 4 weeks. Joe Mixon, we still don't know exactly when he's going to be back. Could be this week, could not be. But the other big thing going on in this game is the Patriots have made the call that they're finally going to call up Drake May and have him make his first rookie start this year. And I'm not sure that's such a great idea going up against the DeMeco Ryans led defense, who are really good at creating pressure. And I think they're really going to make it their mission that game to welcome him to the NFL and really let him know. So some other things that I think it could go under is CJ Stroud. There's really a night and day difference between him when he plays at home and when he plays away. And this is an away game. It's not going to be a very nice game, apparently. The forecast is calling for high winds in Foxborough. So that's something that helps us go to the under as well. And I think just with the way the game script could go here is that Houston could build an early lead and then just kind of rely on the run to run out the clock for most of the game. That's why I don't expect it to be too high scoring. Something I will say that could screw us here and we do have to watch out for is that it's Made's first start here. There could be some turnovers here. And if that happens where he puts Houston in good positions on the field to get more scores, I could see that being the biggest threat to us in the under here. So yeah, that's going to be my fourth bet for this week is the one total. Let's take the Texans at Patriots under 37.5.
All right. And then I'll do one and then you do your last one. All right. Well, I liked it when I bet it at 2.5, but I'm still going to give it anyways because I think they're going to smash them because there's no Derek Carr. And there might not be a Taysom Hill. And they need to pass the ball to be effective. And their defense hasn't looked that great as of late. So I'm going to fade the Saints, and I'm going to give out the Tampa Bay Bucks minus 3.5. Tampa Bay is 12-6 against the spread in their last 18 games. And the Saints' magic, like I said, has appeared to wear off a little bit. The Cinderella story, the pumpkin is coming home, becoming a pumpkin again.
Carrots turning into a pumpkin.
And then, the injuries at quarterback is really going to hurt their offense. So I'm surprised it's only at 3.5 right now. I feel like it could be much better because I feel like Tampa has been really good this year so far. So I'm gonna take Baker. I'm gonna take Tampa in this one.
Nice. Something I'm not going to make this one of my 5, but a bet I did want to actually think about giving out for this. There's no line out for it yet on player props. But something I love betting in this game is the under on Mike Evans receptions, which I expect to be at about 4.5, and I would take the under because man, he goes against his nemesis Marshawn Lattimore in this game. Those two absolutely hate each other. But Lattimore just really seems to have his number, man. I'll get the stats, but he just absolutely shuts him down every time they play. So look for when it comes out, if you're comfortable with whatever the juice is set at. And again, I think it's going to be 4.5. If it's 3.5, I'm not so sure about it. But that is one I would say look out for. But it's not going to be my fifth and final one here. My fifth and final one, man, I really looked for something else. I tried to find another game, another bet, another spread or total that I liked. But I just couldn't get over some of the numbers and the stats I love in this one. So sorry to do it again. Cincinnati Bengals minus 3 is going to be my fifth and final best bet for the week. But hear me out here, man. Ryguy, did you know Daniel Jones has never won a primetime game at home?
I did know that, actually.
Yeah, of course, because you're a smart guy. So he's never won a primetime game at home. That's only the tip of the iceberg, though, man. In primetime games, straight up, he is 1-14, 6-9 against the spread. But also, so they're coming off that surprise win against Seattle last week, which, Brad got a good call with that giant spread pick. But you see some numbers change depending on what game he's coming off of. So when he's off of a loss, he is 23-15 against the spread. But when he's off of a win, like he is just this past weekend, he is 11-11 against the spread when he's coming off a win. Also, something to think about in that one is the fact that they were out west in Seattle for that game. Now, over the past 20 years, East Coast teams, when they're returning home from a West Coast game, the next week are 92, 111, and 8, which I don't know the exact percentage on that, but clearly it's losing. And also this year alone, that stat is 0-4, just in this season alone. Now, going to the other quarterback, though, my guy Joe Burrow, some stats for him here. So in road games for him, against the spread in his career, he is 23-11. When he actually closes at a fave of a field goal or higher. So right now, most books are showing it at -3.5. I did a little bit of digging, though, and actually, if you go into alternate spread on Bet365, you can get -3 for only -115 as the line right now. So I would go get that if you can. It's a big difference between -3 and -3.5. But yes, to go back, so when he is a favor of a field goal or higher, he is 8-3 against the spread. And also, when he's coming off of a loss, like they unfortunately had last week against the Ravens, tough one there, 16-7 against the spread. And in the months of September, October specifically, he is 11-3-1 after a loss against the spread. And also against NFC teams, in his last 10, he is 9-1 straight up. Now, the only thing I will say to consider in this is the fact that I mentioned earlier about the Ravens playing the Commanders. The Bengals are coming off that overtime game against the Giants, who didn't have an overtime game. And like I said there, the straight up, I believe, is 43%, and the cover against the spread is only 44%. So that's really the only stat or trend I could find that doesn't go our direction for this one. But otherwise, I like it for the Sunday night. Who do they think going to beat them Bengals? Not the Giants. Bengals -3.
All right. Bengals -3. So yeah, those are our 5 best bets for week 6. And, let us know what team you're backing. Are you team Ryguy or are you team Ian for this week? And again, let us know in the comments what we should do for punishment, because I'm really not trying to do a vinegar shot. So hopefully someone can come up with something better, more fun. We'll see. But yeah, as always, like, subscribe, all the shit they tell you to do at the end of these videos. Hope you guys are having fun. We're having fun. Let's roll. Let's have a winning week for both of us.
Let's have a good week.
And for all our viewers. Let's do it.
Good luck, you degenerates. Stumble back.
Peace.
Peace.